team here said they were good, and that's something to remind ourselves of, is that every single team in this tournament, EM included, really respect Order. We now need to see that version of Order come to play on stage.
Because it does feel that it hasn't quite been here yet. I would say they have underperformed thus far. But if there was ever a time to perform to one's level, it is now. When you have your back against the wall, this is your last chance.
So here's a huge test once again. It is going to be T1W playing 3-3. It will be basically a mirror outside of Weir going onto the Ana. Quick sleep on Quads as he's waking up.
Order just going to bide their time. Slowly make the move inwards. Like we said, it's that mirror matchup, which also means Assassin on the Xayah. Will be a tough one for Order. To get some damage in onto Silver. Quats is taking most of the heat. Adam sleep on Adam as well. Yuki might be the first casualty here. Quats is isolated. No, it is going to be Quats the first casualty. Good separation from the squad, and then Yuki to follow. So T1W really having no issue absorbing Order's first push in.
And you're starting to get flashbacks now. You're starting to get the PTSD of your Order, because this is exactly how the game was going against O2 Plus. Yongbong on the Ana as well, and Order trying their best with their 3-3 to push through. But as much as they tried to, the defensive 3-3 was just so good in response.
And honestly, Order just kind of walked up without really doing much there as well. We need to see a bit more life out of them. Doesn't help when people are getting slept and all that jazz. But at any rate, let's see if they can maybe have more success second time around.
And if Weir isn't allowed to get a skill shot off, if he misses a Biona, gets it eaten and loses the sleep dart, that's an advantage. But look at that Showdown.
So much damage. He's going to go down here. Surely no staying alive, able to slip out, but it really hurts the team. Nice transcendence though. Kind of has to commit in here to keep the team in it, but it still won't keep Quads alive for long enough. And I think Order are just going, no, we're going to have to retreat. They're separated out.
Huge transcendence.
Turned and run, and this is really rough. Jordation. I don't think that was actually the wrong call this time. Unfortunately, they got no kills with it.
And the problem is, Quats already went down, so I don't know, kind of 50-50 at the end of the day. If they did get a kill, you'd say probably worth, because they have the closer respawn time. Whoever goes down in T1W probably has to get Taxi back unless it's Illusion, and that gives Order some space to walk forward. As it currently stands, they're not getting past the double doors.
This is looking rougher and rougher for Order. T1W as well. We look at macro game. They're starting to pull ahead. Holding on to good ultimates here. Looking to rotate through a few more. Now it's going to be the grab committed. And they get some damage. There's a lot of damage. It's finding a kill onto Yuki with a Bionic Grenade. It really hurts these members. Then a Shatter, and it all goes right for T1W. Only losing Silver, the first casualty that this team has suffered here on Hanamura.
It feels like Order are not running a Diva right now. Order might as well run something else, because Weir is threading through every single ability time and time again. Order want to push in. Grab is going to go in. Assassin's going to land that one. Weir straight away the Bionade onto 4 members. Order are just getting caught left and right and center, upside down, backwards and forwards.
And it seems after 2 years of excellent Diva play, Adam has eaten his fill. They do have some good ultimates coming into this next fight though. This is a winnable fight. This should be a winnable fight, but that's already a good start to T1W. Grab is there, but South Barrier is the answer, so no one's dead. And another Bionade brings Sign super low. Jordation already down to a self-destruct from High B. And now again, Order finding themselves in full retreat. Split off his side. Now Quats gets run down. And suddenly they lose another fight with only 30 seconds left.
And this is just a total disaster now. This is back to 3-3. If you thought, okay, what if it was a fluke? What if T1W just got lucky in their 3-3 mirror? I don't think this is luck anymore. I think this is Order just falling to pieces. T1W are absolutely flexing on them. You can see the positioning here. You even have Hybe behind. Maybe he attempts to think there could be a grab on the other side. It's just not the case.
To say nothing of the other Australian teams, maybe Order have yet to really be challenged on the 3-3 mirror. Now, when they're in the bigger pond, they are really coming across a challenge. Sign getting absolutely pummeled from the side.
To sleep.
That is a huge...
What's got bio?
Oh, that is absolutely massive, and it's all over here for Order. Completely, fully held. 1/3 away now are T1W from advancing, from securing that gauntlet seed that their fellow Chinese team was not able to find. And Order have to fully hold just to push it to a draw.
On cooldown, T1W are hitting every single ability. Look at that, Yuki was stunned. Adam was sleeping, Quads was bionated. All 3 were landed abilities all at the same time. 3 of the members of Order basically couldn't even play the game, and that was after Sign got beamed down 100-0. So quick by Assassin. I'm trying to find a redeeming factor here. Order have to have something, one player, somebody step up.
And it's their last chance, right? I cannot help but feel that if someone was going to step up either yesterday or now with a break today, somewhere in any of these 3 maps so far, it would have already happened by now. Look, it's not too late. A draw keeps them alive. A draw is something, but they have to get a draw in the hardest position possible. It would be an enormous turnaround.
And I repeat myself, do AU believe? Because they're going to need all the belief and more right now in this particular matchup. It's a draw scenario, like you mentioned. Absolute dire straits. There cannot be a possible worse position for them to be in. Match point, even if they win, it's a draw. Or even if they fully, completely hold, it's a draw. We still got to go to further maps. It's about buying time now. It's about putting themselves in a position where we can go again, where we can go to the next one, we can try, we can keep pushing forward, because that's what they need. The series is going absolutely disastrously, but it doesn't have to continue that way in order need to be able to turn the ship around.
Let's be clear as well, if they get a draw, it will be due to a full hold. A full hold is always a display of skill and dominance.
They give me a lot of confidence. If they can pull off the complete hold, I will be very confident in order maybe going to future maps, but as it stands,
T1W are on the cusp, and they're rolling out here very fast, very aggressively. Triple DPS with the wrecking ball, already on the point.
It's going to be a fire as well. Look at that Milan run. Greatest hits by One is going to land on his own team, at least for now for Jordation.
That's all it'll take, 1 kill to get things started. Unser's taking some heat. He's going to be able to slip back. No, he's not. No. Milanran's found it. Will that be the floodgates opening? Watts is low, getting chopped off. That's it.
There's
Watts
no
is
response.
down.
There's zero response
No
from
one's
Order.
died on T1W. I say that as Hybe goes down, but it's far more members dying on the side of Order. And T1W, only 1/3 needed, 1/3 easily attained, achievement get. They will keep China's hopes alive in the Pacific Showdown. They will secure a spot for Gauntlet. They will wake up from the nightmare, and Order are left sleeping.
And China was buried alive just earlier in the matchup, and they clawed their way through the dirt, the soil, breaking through that coffin. They are super, super alive right now, energized, absolutely celebrating, and this is about the time when you have to consider T1W. We have seriously underrated this team. Everyone has seriously underrated this team from day one, match one. They even underrated themselves. They said they weren't confident at all. The complete opposite of Order coming in, and T1W are the team now progressing forward in the lower bracket and not Order.
And we said this at the top of the tournament. For T1W, this was a chance at redemption for a team that has been so dominant in China up until this last season of Contenders, where obviously they dropped to LGE Huya. Well, who's laughing now? T1W is still here. LGE Huya got sent home. T1W have won twice. LGE Huya lost twice. T1W even took a map off Element Mystic. That's something no team has done for such a long time. You could not be prouder if you're a Chinese fan to have this team represent your region.
And I think that was the first signal, right? That was the first sign that you saw from T1W to say, actually, is there something really here? Is there something different that we did not see about this team? 3-0 versus Talon, okay. Talon probably underperformed, maybe you give them a bit of a scrap there. Maybe you say, okay, T1W may have overperformed, but then you look at the Element Mystic series and you say, but they're still playing well. They're still just keeping up with Element Mystic for the longest time. Going into this matchup, you still feel like Order got a very good shot, got an extremely good shot, a good enough shot that we discussed. We even fathomed the thought of China losing both seeds, but that's not this timeline. This is China still in play.
And for Order, unfortunately, it ends in heartbreak. In their home region, they are dynasty topplers. They took out the Sydney Drop Bears, who had won every season of Contenders up until this point. But overseas, the story does not remain the same here for Order. They will not be Titan topplers. Instead, they will be sent back home, where maybe they will continue their run of dominance. But for Australia, this year, they are done international.
Now, let me talk positively about this Order squad for a little second as well, because they did come in as a really hot team. Everybody had nothing but good words to say about them as T1W take their victorious bow. And you look at Order and you say the experience just wasn't there. A super young team, probably one of the younger teams here. They have the youngest player of the tournament, if I'm not mistaken, in Quads. And this is a team that needs a little bit more experience. Yes, RQT was here in 2017 with the rest of his original squad. Gumbo at his side, now coach of Boston Uprising. But this isn't that same team. This isn't that team that had months and months of experience overseas in Taiwan already. This is an Order squad for the first time winning their home region, coming first place for the first time, going international, going to China, and this has been a huge step up, a huge learning experience that they're going to need to go back to, take back to AU and really implement back at home.
Look, there is still that shot that they will get potentially in the World Cup, depending on how things go for the players leading up to that point. But in the world of contenders, as I said, internationally, Australia is officially done. The only region so far that only had the 1 seed to actually lose that seed. It's got to be a bit of a tough pill to swallow, but when you consider that this has happened in the same breath as T1W keeping China in, when they were looking like they might get that absolute disaster from the 2 seed region, you've got to say there is an element of triumph to this, and that's the reality. For every unfortunate loser, there is a triumphant winner.
And that's the other side of the coin that is so amazing to look at when you see T1W's journey. Super underrated team, struggled to make it through Contenders China playoffs, barely scraping their way into the showdown themselves. 0-4 loss to LGE, who are not even in the tournament anymore. China thought their best team was going to be LGE, probably was on paper before the tournament, but now all faith and all, I guess, responsibility in a way is going to be on T1W's shoulder. And I think for the Chinese fans, they're happy about this result, and they're happy about seeing how much further T1W are going to go, because that's also what I'm looking forward to seeing.
Exactly. We've officially sent our first 2 teams packing. We'll be sending 1 more home today, but for now, the standings are we have 2 Korean teams left, both of them still here. The Pacific representative in Talon has advanced forward. They have also retained the Gauntlet seed for Pacific, and T1W have accomplished the same for China right now. So 2 regions now with their hopes riding on just 1 team, while Korea still kind of has that second chance, also guaranteed to have at least 2 seeds at Gauntlet.
Let's go ahead and talk to the victorious winners of T1W for the official post-match interview. Get their thoughts on how that one went. I'm sure there was a lot of pressure going into it, but nothing but smiles, I'm sure, out of them now.
好的，欢迎回到我们的赛后采访，我是妮娜。那站在我身边就是我们 T1W 的米甲，来跟大家打个招呼吧。
Media on the side, please.
大家好，我是 T1W 的米甲。
其实我刚刚看到啊，你刚刚给我表现就是特别的害羞，但是你今天发挥的真的是非常的亮眼，跟大家好好的打一个招呼，告诉大家你是谁。
Please
大家好，我是 T1W 的帅哥。
哇，这就对了嘛！其实今天的比赛也像昨天一样打得非常的顺利，而且很火热。可以告诉一下我们现在的心情是怎么样吗？
How do you feel immediately after this victory?
赢了嘛，肯定是开心的，但是还是要为之后的比赛做点准备嘛，对吧？
But I still have a lot more to prepare for.
压一下，我们才能继续获胜，是不是？好的，那问到你个人，其实你自己的毛妹其实比对方玩的好太多了，感觉上啊，我自己这么认为的。我想问一下，你的毛妹为什么可以总是能量积攒的比对方快那么多？
what is the reason for your success?
最近的话，把状态稍微找回来一点点嘛。
So I got a lot of my own personal confidence back in performance.
就是不知道怎么样，就是这么快。
差不多啊，就发挥到平常的状态就可以比对面快。
是的，其实，在比赛当中的手感还是非常重要的。那我又有一个问题想要问到你了。那在第2场结束的时候，你的毛妹其实已经非常厉害，而且打得非常的顺利。为什么你们队伍会进行一个换人呢？
So why did you change off after Doomfist was performing so well?
因为圣光比我更厉害。
是，
因
为我们 T1W 每一个人都是值得被信任，都是值得可以上场的，是不是？
是。
是的。那接下来还有最后一个问题，马上你们也要面对你们的强敌，刚才上一轮也获胜的 Talon 战队，有什么样的话想要对他们说的？
历史将会重演。
历史将会重演，哇，真的很酷。好的，那也再次感谢我们米甲来接入到我们的采访，希望待会儿能够为我们中国赛区继续赢得荣誉，好吗？
好。
好的，那再次感谢我们的米甲接入到我们赛后采访，那我们稍事休息，马上回来。
They will be moving forward into the tournament, facing Talon just a little bit later, but the one you've been waiting for, O2 Blast versus Element Mystic, is coming up next, so don't go anywhere. Pacific Showdown continues right after this.
Ready. Vamos esculachar!